Black Berkut is a penal colony designed primarily for convicts sentenced to life imprisonment. It is located in the Lozvinsky settlement in the Sverdlovsk region. The prison was closed in 2019, but a lot of legends and secrets remained about her in the people. Just like from the polar owl, no one could escape from here. Even a dig cannot be made, since the prison is located on a rock. About the prison, officially, the prison was called Correctional Colony 56. It could hold almost 500 prisoners. On the settlement, 40 people. In Soviet times, the prison was known for holding criminals sentenced to death, but later their sentences were changed to 20 years of special regime. But there were also death row inmates who ended their life in prison and were later buried in the taiga. After the introduction of life sentences, an additional building was erected in the Black Berkut. The prison itself was opened back in the distant 1930s by the efforts of the NKVD. It was one of the largest camps in the Sverdlovsk region. It was called simply N. In the future, mobilized labor migrants were also kept here. And the place, which already looks more like the current Black Berkut, appeared here in the late 60s. It was made on the basis of Serovles. In the 80s, the institution received the status of a high-security penal colony. The penal colony itself is divided into two parts, for those who received a life sentence and for those who will serve 20 to 25 years for serious crimes. In 1989, there was a mass riot in the colony during which the prisoners took hostages. They demanded transport and money. But after the troops cordoned off the prison, the prisoners surrendered on the terms of at least not increasing their sentence. Since then, there have been no escape attempts. IK-56 got its name from the statue of a black golden eagle. This concrete sculpture is located near the administrative buildings. The author of this sculpture is Kabaz Zakuraev, a former traffic police officer. He was serving time for the murder of his mother-in-law. He was given 25 years. Zakuraev was assisted by other prisoners, including Vladimir Kristop. The latter worked on the no less famous sculpture Black Dolphin, which is installed in IK-6. Content. In the Black Golden Eagle was the strictest regime, which is called special. Killers, child murderers, rapists, terrorists, maniacs served their sentences here. If we combine the crimes of all convicts, together they killed about 800 people. In this part of the country, winter lasts 7 months. The temperature often drops to 445 degrees Celsius, and during the short summer, insects fly in clouds. Conditions are not good, to say the least. It is 600 kilometers to the big city of Yekaterinburg and 40 kilometers to the small town of Ivdel. There is taiga all around. It is clear that no one will try to escape because it is akin to suicide. Those who are here for life are kept in narrow cells, alone or in pairs. There is no sewerage in the cells, and the only amenity is a bucket. Bathing day is once a week. Life-sentenced prisoners spend almost all their time in the cell. Only once a day, there is an hour's walk. A prisoner may receive 1 parcel per year and 2 visits of 4 hours each. Physical contact is forbidden, as well as telephone conversations. Prisoners sentenced to 20 to 25 years can talk on the phone. In general, their conditions are milder. They say that here every third prisoner with a life sentence goes insane, and they live in the colony for an average of about 10 years. By the way, even among other criminals of the Black Berkut, life convicts are considered outcasts. They are called dustmen. Each prisoner had his own card listing his victims. Those who had the death penalty commuted to life lived in wooden barracks that had been built during the Soviet era. All but life prisoners could work in a carpenter's shop, sawmill, or garage. After the prisoners have breakfast, their cells are inspected daily. The prisoners also have the opportunity to play sports, watch TV, and read books from 2 libraries, secular and spiritual. In 2012-2013, a documentary film, The Sentenced, was made about Black Berkut. It was directed by Nick Reed and Mark Franchetti, who served time in the Black Berkut. Of course, during the entire existence of the colony, there have been many convicts. But there are some individuals who have distinguished themselves or are remembered by the management and staff in particular. Eduard Chudinov killed between 15 and 30 girls in the Sverdlovsk region. Anatoly Sedych committed suicide on 11th of June 2023, who is known as Lipetsk Chikatilo, strangled 12 people. Ilya Tikhomirov staged a terrorist attack at Cherkissovsky Market, which injured 75 people. Nikolai Chigirinskih, Pervoralsk maniac, known pedophile, rapist, serial killer. Vladimir Mirgorod, accurate strangler, whose victims were 16 people. Vladimir Kristopa is a serial killer. The latter is interesting because he was initially given the death penalty, which was later replaced by 25 years, and in 2020, the criminal went free. There were enough such prisoners in the Black Golden Eagle at different times. Why did prisoners need the death penalty? Sudkhan Dadashev, the former head of the colony, says he would very much like to bring back the death penalty for those who served time in the Black Berkut. However, many people don't understand him. Sudan argues that these people simply did not look those criminals who served time there in the eye. They really deserved to die. In the 90s, when the death penalty was abolished, many who had been sentenced to capital punishment tried to leave life on their own. Some succeeded. They were disappointed by the abolition, as they did not want to spend the rest of their days in these grim, to put it mildly, conditions. However, according to the very first head of the colony, Alexei Detkov, during his research, not a single prisoner agreed to write a petition to be shot in exchange for life imprisonment. By the way, Detkov later became a scientist, a professor of the Department of Criminology and Criminal Law. He believes that several cases of suicide and self-mutilation in the colony are the result of violations in the psyche of prisoners. Not every person is able to endure a long stay in prison. Present time. Now, the Black Berkut prison is in a mothballed state. But the environment plays its role, and many structures have already simply rotted away. What is interesting, officially, IK-56 still exists. Criminologists claim that the terrible prison is planned to be mothballed, and after major repairs and re-equipment will be used in the future, all for the same purpose, for those sentenced to long and life terms.